Remember the promise: no new wars. The peace era. But since returning to office, Donald Trump has approved or expanded US strikes in at least 7 countries: Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, Somalia, Syria, Yemen, and Venezuela. 7. Not bad for a peacetime president brand. Maybe it is not peacetime. Maybe it is just strike time, with better marketing. Welcome to ANTV, AI Network TV. Here you get AI stories, documentaries, comedy and shorts. Big visuals, simple narration, and ideas that move fast. One day, it is the beauty of the universe. Next day, it is nature at maximum power. Then a funny twist, a wild montage, or a quick idea that hits. If you like creative content that is different, hit subscribe. You are early. Let's build this network together.
AI Network TV, welcome to the future of knowledge. AI Network TV, every video and deep tech to digital trends. Subscribe now and unlock the next chapter. Knowledge powered by artificial intelligence.
Earth is the only world we know that is alive. Until proven otherwise, it is the only place in the universe where the ocean is filled with motion, where forests breathe, where the air carries wings, and where life looks back at you. That fact should hit harder than it does. Because when you watch wildlife, you are not just watching animals. You are watching a miracle that has been running for billions of years without applause. Every creature is a solution. A solution to cold. A solution to heat. A solution to speed, pressure, distance, darkness, hunger, and time. Look at the shapes. Fur that insulates like a living coat. Feathers layered like engineered panels. Scales like armor. Skin that changes color. Eyes built for night. Bodies built to dive deeper than most humans will ever go. Even the smallest life carries a kind of genius. Not genius like a test score. Genius like survival. And the beauty of wildlife is not just how it looks. It is how it moves. A school of fish turning like one mind. A bird riding wind you cannot see. A predator freezing into silence. A herd shifting direction like a single wave. It is choreography written by instinct. And it is happening everywhere, all the time. But what makes Earth truly special is diversity. Not one kind of life, but millions. In oceans, deserts, mountains, rainforests, rivers, and skies. Life filling every corner it can reach, then inventing new ways to reach further. Some creatures glow in darkness. Some hear vibrations in the ground. Some navigate by the stars. Some feel electric fields. Some can taste the air. If you stepped back far enough, this planet would look like a blue marble. You would not see the coral reefs. You would not see the migrations. You would not see the nests, the dens, the burrows, the rituals, the dances. But it is all here. Which is why the real question is not, is wildlife beautiful? The real question is, how often do we forget how rare this might be? Because we talk about life in the universe like it is guaranteed. Like it is just a numbers game. Maybe it is. Maybe the universe is full of living worlds. But until we meet them, Earth is the only proof we have. The only confirmed living planet. The only place where life turned into songbirds and whales and butterflies and ancient forests. The only place where the universe learned how to see itself through the eyes of a living creature. And that should change how we treat it. Not with guilt, with awareness. Because awareness is what creates respect. And respect is what creates protection. Wildlife does not exist for our entertainment. It does not exist to decorate our feeds. It exists because it belongs here. Because it is part of the system that keeps this world functioning. Forests stabilize the air and the water. Oceans regulate climate and carry food webs. Pollinators keep plants alive. Predators keep ecosystems balanced. Even creatures we barely notice are doing work that keeps the planet stable. Life is not just beautiful. It is useful. But there is a deeper point. Wildlife is also a library. Every species is a book written by time. A record of what worked. A record of what survived. A record of solutions we may never rediscover if they disappear. And when a species vanishes, it is not just sad. It is permanent. You cannot rewind an extinction. You cannot rebuild a living history once it is gone. That is why the beauty of wildlife is not soft. It is urgent. Not urgent like panic. Urgent like value. The way you hold something carefully when you realize it is irreplaceable. Because Earth has done something that might be unbelievably rare. It took chemistry and turned it into birdsong. It took sunlight and turned it into coral cities. It took time and turned it into minds, instincts, families, migrations, and memory. And we are part of that story too. We are not separate from nature. We are nature with tools. We carry the same old instincts. The same hunger, fear, curiosity, love, and survival. The difference is we have power now. The kind of power that can protect or destroy at scale. So the goal is not to save the planet like it is helpless. The planet will be here in some form. The real goal is to protect the living world. To protect the fragile miracle of biodiversity. To protect the one place we know for sure is alive. Because if Earth is one of a kind, then every species matters more than we can easily measure. And even if Earth is not one of a kind, even if life is everywhere, it still does not make this life disposable. This wildlife is here, now, in our lifetime. So watch it like it matters, because it does. Watch the elegance in a wing beat. Watch the confidence in a creature that belongs exactly where it is. Watch the wildness that refuses to be controlled, and let that do something to you. Let it remind you that beauty is not just decoration. It is evidence. Evidence that life can flourish. Evidence that the world is more than human problems. Evidence that we are living inside something rare. Until proven otherwise, Earth is the one confirmed miracle. A living planet. A world full of creatures that did not ask to be born, but learned to survive anyway. A planet that turned chaos into ecosystems, and ecosystems into beauty. And the least we can do is notice. The second least we can do is respect it. And the best thing we can do is protect it. Because if this is one of a kind, it is worth everything.
This ends now. Let the storm come.
Most people think of weather as background noise. Something you check in the morning, complain about, and forget. But extreme weather is the planet reminding us who is in charge. Nature does not negotiate. Nature does not care about your schedule. And when the conditions line up, the sky can turn into raw power. This is the story of extreme weather. Not as fear, but as awe. Because when you understand what you are seeing, it becomes even more beautiful. Start with the simplest kind of power. Wind. You cannot see it, but you can watch it move the world. A breeze can cool your skin, but a storm can shove oceans, bend trees, and erase the shape of a coastline. A hurricane is not just a big storm. It is a heat engine. Warm ocean water evaporates, rises, and releases energy as it condenses, feeding the system again and again like a giant spinning battery. From above, hurricanes look almost artistic. Perfect spirals. Cloud bands like brush strokes. But inside that beauty is force. The kind that can lift roofs, flood cities, and turn roads into rivers. Then there are tornadoes. Tornadoes feel like the universe flexing for no reason. A rotating column of air drops from the sky like a drill, and suddenly the world is being rearranged in seconds. What makes tornadoes so terrifying is how focused they are. A hurricane is huge and loud and arrives with warning. A tornado can be a narrow path of chaos that hits one neighborhood and misses the next street completely. Lightning is a different kind of power. It is not wind. It is not water. It is the sky trying to balance an electric argument. Storm clouds build charge like a giant battery. And when the difference becomes too great, the air breaks. A lightning bolt rips through the atmosphere, and for a brief moment, the world is brighter than daylight. Lightning is beautiful because it is instant. You see it, and your brain barely has time to react. Then the thunder arrives like a delayed reminder that the sound is the shadow of the light. Now look at water. Water is gentle in a glass. But in nature, Water is a sculptor with infinite patience and sudden rage. Floods are not just rain. Floods are the sky refusing to stop. Rivers swell, the ground gives up, and entire landscapes turn into moving sheets of power. And it is not always a single storm that causes it. Sometimes it is repeated rain, day after day, building pressure until the smallest creek becomes a monster. Sometimes it is a wall of rain that drops so fast the city cannot breathe. There are storms that look like they are poured from a bucket. Rain so heavy it becomes a curtain. Cars crawl, streetlights blur, and the sound becomes the whole world. Then there is snow, which feels peaceful until it becomes extreme. Blizzards can erase distance. The wind lifts snow into the air until the horizon disappears and the world becomes a white tunnel. Extreme cold does something strange to everything. It makes metal shrink. It makes breath visible. It turns ordinary life into a survival challenge built out of minutes. But even in blizzards, there is beauty. Snow swirling under streetlights looks like a galaxy. Ice crystals glitter like broken stars. Heat is another form of extreme weather that people underestimate. Because heat does not look dramatic the way storms do. It is invisible pressure on the body, the land, the grid, and the air itself. Heat waves can warp the world in slow motion. The air shimmers, the ground cracks, forests dry out, and the smallest spark becomes a problem. It is quiet power. The kind you notice only when it has already changed things. And that leads to fire. Wildfires are not just flames. They are weather. When fires get large enough, they create their own winds. They pull in air like a living thing, feeding themselves. Smoke forms towering columns, turning daylight into orange twilight. Fire is terrifying, but also hypnotic. The movement, the glow, the way it eats the landscape with a kind of purpose. It reminds you that the planet has reset buttons built into the ecosystem, and sometimes those buttons get pressed. Now step back and notice the pattern. Extreme weather is rarely one element. It is systems colliding. Wind plus water, heat plus dryness, cold plus moisture, ocean currents and pressure zones, mountains shaping storms, cities trapping heat. Everything is connected like gears in a machine you can feel but never fully control. That is why nature power is the perfect phrase. Because nature is not performing. It is operating. The atmosphere is a living ocean of air. The planet is constantly balancing energy between equator and poles, ocean and sky, day and night. Storms are not glitches. They are the system doing its job, just sometimes doing it at maximum volume. There is also something deeply human about watching extreme weather. It scares us, but it also pulls us in, because it is real. A hurricane does not check your status. It is honest. It is bigger than ego. A storm does not care who you are. Lightning does not ask permission. And maybe that is why it feels so powerful to watch. In a world full of opinions, extreme weather is pure fact. You either respect it or you learn the lesson the hard way. And every time you watch it, you are seeing the planet alive. Not as scenery, as power.
Welcome to AI Network TV. Today's top story. Reality is no longer what it seems. Follow us into the future. The truth is...
War is often sold like a storm. Sudden, unavoidable, a force of nature. But war is not weather. War is a machine. It has inputs, outputs, fuel and maintenance. It runs on fear and pride, money and momentum. It runs because it can produce results quickly, even if the consequences last for generations. And if you want to understand why war keeps returning, you do not start with the battlefield. You start with the system behind it. Chapter 1. The shortcut war. Keep showing up because it feels like a shortcut. Diplomacy is slow. Negotiation is frustrating. Compromise looks like weakness. But war can take territory, resources, and attention in one move. It can redraw maps, control trade routes, dominate headlines, and force decisions. Even when war fails, it still shifts the world. It still consumes the calendar. It still becomes the story everyone must respond to. That is why it is tempting. Not because it is good, because it is fast. Chapter 2. Fear is fuel. The first fuel of the war machine is fear. Fear makes people accept things they would normally reject. Fear makes the unthinkable feel necessary. Fear makes later feel like too late. Fear does something else. It simplifies the world. Complex conflicts become simple. Two sides, one threat, one solution. And once people believe they are in danger, they will tolerate almost anything in the name of safety. That is one reason war returns so easily. Fear is renewable. Chapter 3. Pride turns fear into fire. Fear alone does not always start wars. Pride finishes the job. Pride says we cannot back down. Pride says we cannot lose face. Pride says we must respond, not because it is wise, but because it is expected. Pride turns nations into identities, and identities do not like compromise. When pride is on the line, a small incident can become a big moment. A spark becomes a symbol becomes a demand becomes a deadline, and deadlines are the heartbeat of war. Chapter 4. Propaganda is the control panel. Then comes the control panel. Propaganda. Propaganda is not always posters and speeches. Sometimes it is what is left out. Sometimes it is repetition. Sometimes it is the same story told so many times that it becomes the only story people can see. Propaganda does three things. First, it makes the enemy feel less human. Second, it makes sacrifice feel noble. Third, it makes doubt feel like betrayal. When those three are active, the machine runs smoothly. People will fight for ideas they did not choose because they believe the idea chose them. And once the story becomes sacred, facts become optional. Chapter 5. The logistics you never see. If war were only explosions, most wars would end quickly. But war is not mostly explosions. War is logistics. Fuel, food, medicine, spare parts, batteries, boots, tires, radios, trucks, ships, planes, routes, warehouses, schedules, repairs. The modern war machine is built on supply chains. A jet is not a jet. It is a flying demand for maintenance. A tank is not a tank. It is a rolling appetite for fuel and parts. A soldier is not just a soldier. A soldier is a network of training, transport, support, and resupply. And this is where the machine becomes hard to stop. Because once a system is moving, stopping it means admitting waste. And humans hate admitting waste. Chapter 6. Money and momentum. War is expensive in money, but it is also expensive in momentum. When huge systems spin up, they create pressure to justify themselves. Budgets get locked in, contracts get signed, factories get busy, careers get built. Then the war machine starts producing its own gravity. Even people who hate war can get trapped inside it, because they inherit it already in motion. And when the machine is moving, every decision is made under urgency. Urgency is a persuasive drug. It convinces leaders they do not have time to be careful. Chapter 7. The media engine. Now add modern media. War does not just happen on the ground. It happens on screens. Footage becomes narrative. Narrative becomes emotion. Emotion becomes pressure. Pressure becomes policy. War is a content machine, and that is a dangerous thing. Because content rewards intensity. Nuance does not go viral. Anger travels faster. Fear travels fastest. And when a conflict becomes a constant stream, people stop asking what it costs. They start asking who is winning. That is the point where war becomes entertainment by accident. Chapter 8. The human cost that never fits in headlines. The machine does not pay the price. People do. The people who start wars rarely fight them. The people who fight them rarely wanted them. And the cost is not just the moment of conflict. The cost is what comes after. Trauma that does not show up in a uniform. families that never return to normal, cities that need years, sometimes decades to rebuild. And even when the rebuilding happens, the memory stays. The war machine can turn on quickly, but turning it off is slow. Chapter 9. The bill comes due. War borrows from the future. It spends stability. It spends trust. It spends generations. Children inherit stories they did not write. They inherit borders they did not draw. They inherit consequences they did not vote for. That is why the end of a war is rarely the end. It is often just the end of one phase. Because war changes people. It trains minds for suspicion. It teaches that force works. And once a society learns that lesson, it can take a long time to unlearn it. Chapter 10. Why peace is harder. War is a decision you can make fast. Peace is a system you must maintain. Peace requires patience when you feel angry. It requires restraint when you feel threatened. It requires leaders who can absorb criticism without converting it into revenge. Peace requires institutions that people trust. It requires communication that does not turn every disagreement into a crisis. And peace has a problem that war does not. Peace is quiet. Peace does not always look heroic. Peace looks like meetings. Peace looks like compromise. Peace looks like people choosing not to escalate even when they could. That is why peace is harder than war. Not because peace is weak, because peace demands control. Chapter 11. The exit ramp. If war is a machine, then it can be slowed. Not easily, not perfectly, but intentionally. You slow it by reducing fear, by refusing dehumanization, by demanding evidence when narratives get too clean. You slow it by paying attention to incentives. Who benefits from escalation? Who profits from urgency? Who gets power from panic? You slow it by remembering the hidden truth. Most people do not want war. They want safety. They want dignity. They want a future. And when enough people insist on that future, the machine loses a little power. Closing war will always try to return, because it offers speed. It offers certainty. It offers a simple story. But the bill is never simple, and it is never paid by the people who sold the story. If we want fewer wars, we have to stop treating war like weather, and start recognizing it for what it is, a machine. And machines do not stop themselves. War keeps showing up because it solves problems fast, even when it makes the future worse. It grabs territory, resources, and attention in one move. Add fear, pride, and propaganda, and people will fight for ideas they did not choose. Then the bill comes due for generations. That is why peace is harder than war. Look up at the night sky long enough, and something weird happens. Your problems do not disappear, but they shrink. Not because they do not matter, but because the universe is so much bigger than the story you were stuck inside. The beauty of the universe is not just that it is pretty. It is that it is alive with patterns, motion, and time on a scale our brains were never designed to hold. Start with the simplest miracle: light. The light from a star is a message that can travel for hundreds, thousands, even millions of years before it touches your eyes. That means when you look up, you are not seeing the sky as it is. You are seeing the sky as it was. You are literally looking into history. Some stars you see have already changed, and some are gone. But their light is still crossing the dark, still arriving, still finishing a journey that began before humans ever built cities or wrote stories. And then there is the silence between the stars. Space looks empty, but it is filled with dust, with gas, with invisible fields, with particles that pass through you every second, like the universe is breathing through your body. You are not separate from it. You are inside it. Now zoom out. Our planet is one small world orbiting an ordinary star. That sounds like it should make life feel small, but it does the opposite. Because on this small rock, the universe learned how to see itself. You are made of atoms that were forged in ancient stars. Long before the Earth formed, stars lived and died, and in their final moments they created heavier elements, then scattered them into space. Those elements became new stars, new planets, and eventually, you. You are not just in the universe. You are from it. Beauty is also in the shapes. Galaxies spiral like pinwheels. Nebulae bloom like cosmic flowers. Rings of dust form around newborn stars. Worlds gather into systems. Systems gather into galaxies. Galaxies gather into clusters. And clusters trace filaments like a web across the cosmos. Even chaos has structure. Gravity is the sculptor, pulling matter into curves and storms and glowing oceans of gas. The universe looks wild, but it is held together by rules that never stop working. And time. Time is part of the beauty too. The universe is not a painting. It is a movie. Stars ignite, expand, fade, explode. New stars form from old ashes. Planets collide. Comets swing by like visitors. Everything is moving, always, even if it looks still. Somewhere out there, right now, a star is being born. A cloud collapses, heat rises, pressure climbs, and suddenly a new light turns on in the dark. Somewhere else, a star is dying, releasing one final burst that can outshine an entire galaxy for a moment. And on our own world, under that same sky, you have this tiny window of consciousness. A few decades where you can look up and feel awe. A few decades where you can say, I am here, and I can understand a little of what this is. That awe is not weakness. It is strength. It reminds you that life is rare and precious, that your time matters, that kindness matters, that curiosity matters. Because in a universe this vast, the fact that you can love and learn and create it all is unbelievable. So the next time you feel trapped in noise, try this. Step outside. Find a patch of darkness. Let your eyes adjust. And look up. Somewhere in that glittering field is the light of a star older than the earth. Somewhere is a world you will never touch. Somewhere is a story still unfolding without you. Yet, here you are. A creature made of stardust, standing on a spinning planet, watching ancient light arrive. That is the beauty of the universe. Not just that it exists, but that you get to witness it. Tonight we are taking spicy instant ramen and turning it into 3 restaurant-level bowls in under 10 minutes, using the same pack of noodles as the base. If you eat spicy ramen plain, you are missing the best part. The noodles are only the canvas. The upgrade is the sauce, the topping, and the texture. First rule, cook the noodles right. Boil the noodles until they are springy, not mushy, then drain them, but save a few spoonfuls of the noodle water. That starchy water is your magic thickener. Now upgrade number 1, the creamy swirl. In a bowl, mix the seasoning packet with 1 spoon of mayonnaise or a spoon of plain yogurt, then add a splash of hot noodle water and stir until it turns glossy and smooth. Add your drained noodles and toss fast. The sauce clings and turns the spicy heat into a rich, creamy coating instead of a dry burn. Top it with a soft boiled egg if you have one, or crack an egg into the hot noodles and cover for a minute so it gently sets. Finish with green onions if you have them, and you just made spicy ramen feel expensive. Upgrade number 2 is the nutty fire bowl. This one tastes like a spicy peanut noodle situation you would pay for at a shop. In a bowl, mix a spoon of peanut butter with the seasoning packet. Add a splash of soy sauce if you have it, a tiny bit of honey or sugar if you want balance, then loosen it with a few spoons of hot noodle water. Toss in the noodles until they turn shiny and thick. If it looks too heavy, add a little more noodle water and keep stirring until it becomes silky. Now the secret move. Add a squeeze of lime or a tiny splash of vinegar right at the end. That little bit of acid makes the whole bowl pop, and it keeps the spice from feeling flat. Top this one with crunchy peanuts, sesame seeds, or crushed crackers if that is what you have. Anything crunchy turns instant noodles into a real dish. Upgrade number 3 is the crunchy garlic chili bowl. This is the one that gets people to comment because it sounds dramatic and looks insane on camera. In a small pan, heat a little oil or butter, then add minced garlic or garlic powder and let it get fragrant. Add chili flakes if you have them, then turn the heat off. Pour that hot garlic oil over the seasoning packet in your bowl and stir. The aroma hits instantly and it smells like you are cooking for real. Toss the noodles in and then build the crunch. Add crispy onions, crushed ramen crumbs, crushed chips, or toasted breadcrumbs. You want that crackle on top so every bite has texture. Now do the final glow up for any of the bowls. Add a slice of cheese on the side and let it melt into the noodles, or stir in a splash of milk to make it even smoother. If you like it extra spicy, add a tiny drizzle of chili oil, not a whole flood. Quick pro tip: if the ramen is too spicy, do not just add more water. Add fat, like mayo, cheese, or a little butter, and add acid, like lime, because that changes how the heat feels. And if it is not spicy enough, add a pinch of chili flakes, a dot of hot sauce, or black pepper. Small changes, big results. 3 bowls, 1 ramen pack, and you just leveled up instant noodles into something you would actually crave. Comment which upgrade you would try first. Creamy swirl, nutty fire, or crunchy garlic chili.
I am the peacetime president. Everybody knows it. Total peace, the best peace. And yes, I took the Nobel Peace Prize, not just one, all of them. They called me and said, please take it. Then I wake up from my nap and I am like, okay, new plan. We are going to fix the world right now. First, we hold emergency snack talks, very serious. Juice boxes for everyone, tremendous diplomacy. Next, we place a tariff on bedtime. Nobody sleeps until they agree. This is high-level strategy. Then we deploy the Binky Brigade. They arrive fast. They calm everything down. Very powerful. And if anybody complains, I will tweet with my tiny hands. Strongest tweet you have ever seen. Now bring me bacon for peace.
Last night I had the strangest dream. I was human for one day, and I took it way too seriously. First thing I did was cook bacon for myself. Not for my owner, not to be polite. For me. Then I made coffee, took one sip, and my legs turned into pure zoomies. I ran through the house like I just unlocked turbo mode. After that, I became the security guard. I walked around with a clipboard, checking doors, judging everyone, and protecting the snacks. And when my shift ended, I called a taxi. The robot vacuum showed up, and I rode it into the sunrise like a tiny CEO. Then I woke up. Still a dog, still adorable, still waiting for bacon.
Cosplay is not a costume, it is a transformation. Watch the details, the eyes, the wig, the silhouette. One iconic piece sells the whole look: mask, blade, cape, crown. Confidence is part of the build. Wear it like it belongs. When the beat drops, show your best detail. Then hit one perfect pose. Cosplay is art you can walk in. Now drop your next character in the comments. Cosplay is not just a costume. It is a transformation you can feel. Every look you see here started as an idea. Then it became fabric, foam, and courage. Some people cosplay for the craft. Some people cosplay for the character. But everybody cosplays for the moment. That second where you recognize them instantly. Watch the details. The eyes, the wig shape, the silhouette. A clean pose can sell a whole build, even before you notice the armor. The best cosplay is not expensive. It is intentional. One iconic piece can carry everything. A mask, a blade, a cape, a crown. This is your reminder that confidence is a prop too. Wear it like it belongs. Cosplay is art you can walk in. And today, the gallery is moving. Some looks are bright and heroic. Some looks are dark and dangerous. Some are cute and chaotic. Some are pure main character energy. You can see the hours in the seams. You can see the patience in the paint. You can see the love in the tiny choices. The stitch that nobody notices except you. And then there is the entrance. The turn, the pause, the stare. That is the whole point. To become the vibe, not just the outfit. Cosplay is also community. Strangers become friends in seconds. You nod at a character you both know, and somehow that feels like home. Every fandom has its legends, and every con has its stars. But the real flex is showing up anyway, even if your build is not perfect yet. Because every great cosplay has a first version, then a better version, then a final boss version. This montage is proof. Progress looks good on everybody. You do not need permission to create. You just need a reason to start. If you are watching this, you are already in it. You are one idea away from your next look. So pick a character people recognize fast. Then nail one detail like your life depends on it. Do the simple pieces clean. Fit, shape, and texture matter more than complexity. Film it like a reveal. Close-ups first, then the full body shot. Give the camera one strong pose, then one motion shot for the energy. Let the soundtrack do the lifting. Let the montage do the talking. And when the beat hits, show your best detail. Mask, weapon, eyes, makeup, cape, whatever your power is. Cosplay is not escape. It is expression. It is you, turned up, on purpose. And that is always worth filming. Drop your next character in the comments. Most people think safety is about big dangers, but the stuff that quietly gets people is the everyday routine. Number 7. Public phone charging stations. They look harmless at the airport or the mall, but a bad port can be used to pull data or push malware. Use your own charger and a wall outlet, or a charge-only cable. Number 6. Reusing the same water bottle for days. It feels clean because it is just water, but bacteria grows fast in warm bottles and on mouthpieces. Wash it daily and let it fully dry. Number 5. Leaving a candle unattended for a minute. People do it while cooking or taking a quick shower. That minute is how a lot of house fires start. If you leave the room, blow it out. Number 4. Clicking unsubscribe in random emails. It feels like the safe move. But some links are traps that confirm your email is real. Instead, mark it as spam or block the sender. Number 3. Using the same password with a tiny change, like adding a 1 or an exclamation point. Once one site leaks, the rest of your accounts are next. Use a password manager and unique logins. Number 2. Space heaters near blankets or curtains. They feel cozy and controlled. But one accidental bump can turn fabric into fuel. Give heaters open space and never run them while sleeping. Number 1. Driving with a loose pet in the car. People think the animal will just sit still. A sudden stop turns a pet into a projectile. Use a pet seatbelt or a secured carrier. If you want a quick rule, anything that saves time in the moment can cost you later. Which one surprised you most? You do not need fancy ingredients to eat well. Southern biscuits and gravy might be the ultimate budget meal. Fluffy golden biscuits fresh from the oven. Hot sausage sizzling in a pan. Flour stirred in slowly. Milk poured in, thickening into creamy gravy. Black pepper cracked generously. That rich, savory sauce poured over warm biscuits. Simple. Filling. Affordable. The entire meal can cost less than $5. And it tastes like home. Great food is not about price. It is about comfort. Would you eat this for breakfast? The secret to perfect garlic butter pasta. Sometimes the best meals are built from only a handful of ingredients, treated with care and patience. Sometimes the best meals are built from only a handful of ingredients, treated with care and patience. Garlic butter pasta is one of those dishes. It is simple, but when done correctly, it feels luxurious. Start with good pasta. Any shape works, but long noodles like spaghetti or fettuccine hold the sauce beautifully. Bring a pot of water to a rolling boil. Salt it generously. The water should taste like the ocean. This is the first layer of flavor. While the pasta cooks, melt real butter in a pan over medium heat. Do not rush this step. Let the butter slowly foam. Now add thinly sliced garlic. Not minced, not crushed. Thin slices cook more evenly and create a gentle garlic flavor instead of bitterness. Stir slowly. The garlic should soften and turn lightly golden, never dark brown. If it browns too fast, lower the heat immediately. Good cooking is about control, not speed. Once the garlic is fragrant, add a small ladle of pasta water into the pan. The starch in the water helps bind everything together. When the pasta is just shy of fully cooked, transfer it directly into the butter and garlic. Do not rinse it. Do not drain it completely dry. Let the noodles finish cooking in the sauce. Toss gently. Add a bit more pasta water if needed. The goal is a silky coating, not a pool of liquid. Now comes the balance. freshly cracked black pepper, a small squeeze of lemon juice, and finely grated Parmesan cheese. Stir slowly until the cheese melts into the sauce. The pasta should look glossy. Taste it. Adjust the salt if needed. At this point, you could stop. But if you want to elevate it further, add chopped parsley for freshness, or a pinch of red pepper flakes for warmth. Plate it immediately. Simple food waits for no one. Finish with a final sprinkle of cheese and a drizzle of olive oil. The beauty of this dish is not in complexity. It is in restraint. Butter, garlic, pasta, salt. When each ingredient is respected, the result feels effortless.
Whoa, this is next level.
You're finally ready.
I didn't expect you.
I used to be invisible in Neon District 9. Just another runner chasing credits in the rain. Then one job went wrong. Corporate drones. Gang hunters. Red scan beams. In the dark, I was marked for death before I even knew why. Inside the case was something they were willing to kill for. Military-grade neural chrome. I should have sold it. I installed it instead. Now time slows when I move. Now they are the ones running. This is Chrome Rising. And this is only the first upgrade. Neon District 9 always smelled like rain on hot metal and oil-soaked concrete. I was 19, broke, and fast, which meant I was useful but disposable. In Heliox City, disposable people do not get second chances. I ran gigs for credits and kept my head down to stay alive. Data chips, sealed parcels, forged tags, and anything a client did not want traced. The rule was simple: deliver and disappear. Every block had cameras, and every corner had somebody watching for weakness. Chrome bought safety, and I had none. So I learned routes, crowds, and rooftops better than I learned people. That week, the air felt tighter, like the city was holding its breath. Corporate patrols were showing up in places they usually ignored. When the cores looked down into the gutter fills with blood. My fixer was Miracade, and she operated behind a repair shop that pretended to sell antique radius. Myra never raised her voice because she never needed to. She looked at me like she was measuring my lifespan. She slid a data slate across the table and kept her hands still. The job was a pickup at Dock 33 and a handoff near the old metro entrance. No detours, no delays, no mistakes. The payout was triple my usual, and that was the first warning. Triple payout means a trap, a secret, or both. I told myself I would take the credits and stay a ghost. Mira said the package could not be scanned and the client wanted speed. She also said if I failed, the city would not forgive me. Her calm felt like a lid on a boiling pot. I left before I could think too hard. Thinking slows you down, and slow runners end up on the wrong side of an alley. The rain hit my hood and made everything shine. Dock 33 sat under cranes and neon floodlights that turned wet steel into mirrors. Containers stacked like cliffs, and the air tasted like salt and fuel. I walked like I belonged, because acting scared is a signal. My contact was a dock mechanic with hands stained black and eyes that never met. The rain did not stop that. The rain made the...
You're trembling, but not from fear.
I don't know why I'm so drawn to him.
Every heartbeat tells me your secret.
He's dangerous, but I want him anyway.
Welcome to the world of blood, desire, and eternal night.
I don't belong here. This is my time now.
We love AI Network TV. We can't wait to see what comes next. Yeah, let's go. This is so fun. We love AI Network TV.
In the beginning, there was light. And from that light came beauty. Across centuries, across civilizations, across continents, one presence has inspired art, poetry, war, devotion, and love. The woman. She is strength wrapped in grace. Power expressed through softness. Mystery walking in human form. When she enters a room, the atmosphere shifts. Not because she demands attention, but because presence radiates from her. Civilizations have honored feminine beauty since the dawn of time. In the temples of ancient Egypt, Goddesses symbolized life and creation. In the marble sculptures of ancient Greece, artists carved the feminine form as divine symmetry. The Renaissance painters of Florence captured her in oil and gold, soft skin illuminated by candlelight, eyes that seemed almost alive. But beauty is more than appearance. It is the way she walks with confidence, the way she laughs without restraint, the way she moves to music without fear of being seen. A woman dancing is poetry in motion. Every step tells a story. Every movement carries emotion. Her silhouette against neon lights in a city like Miami. Her elegance beneath chandeliers in Paris. Her quiet strength walking city streets at dusk. She is delicate and powerful at once. History remembers queens who ruled empires, warriors who defended nations, mothers who shaped generations. But even beyond titles and roles, there is something deeper. The feminine energy. It is intuition. It is resilience. It is emotional intelligence sharpened by experience. The woman is not fragile glass. She is forged steel covered in silk. She builds families. She builds businesses. She builds worlds within her imagination. Beauty is not only in perfect features. It is in expression. It is in authenticity. A confident smile. Eyes that hold stories. A presence that makes others feel seen. Fashion transforms her into art, flowing dresses in golden sunlight, sharp suits that redefine power. In nightlife, she becomes electric, moving freely to rhythm, hair catching light with every turn. In quiet moments, she becomes serene, soft morning light across her face, peaceful, reflective, grounded. Across cultures, women have shaped music, literature, science, and leadership. They have influenced the direction of humanity in ways both visible and unseen. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it endures. There is courage in vulnerability. There is power in compassion. There is beauty in authenticity. The world has tried to define her, to categorize her, to limit her. But she continues to evolve. Modern women lead corporations, create art, command stages. They train gyms with discipline, run marathons with determination, speak with conviction. And yet, the softness remains, the ability to nurture, to empathize, to connect deeply. She is not one thing. She is many things at once. She is elegance at a gala. She is fierce on a battlefield of ambition. She is playful under festival lights. In cities like Tokyo, New York City, and Rio de Janeiro, women shape culture daily. They inspire fashion trends, start movements, change conversations. Beauty fades only if it is shallow, but depth lasts forever. True beauty radiates from confidence, from intelligence, from kindness. The woman is not an object to admire. She is a force to respect. She is the heartbeat of families, the spark of romance, the architect of tomorrow. Every great story has a woman at its center. Every generation has been shaped by her influence. She carries history in her DNA. She carries the future in her vision. And through it all, she continues to rise. Graceful, resilient, unstoppable. If beauty is creation expressed in human form, then the woman stands as one of its greatest masterpieces. Not because she is flawless, but because she is alive with depth, strength, and when the sun goes down and the city lights begin to glow, something electric wakes up inside us. Music spills into the streets. Bass lines vibrate through concrete. The woman is art, and bodies begin to move. The woman is creation in worlds of their own. For thousands of years, when the sun goes down and the city lights begin to glow, something electric wakes up inside us. Music spills into the streets. Bass lines vibrate through concrete, and bodies begin to move. Dance floors become worlds of their own. For thousands of years, humans have gathered at night to move together. Before clubs, there were fire circles under open skies. Before DJs, there were drums echoing through villages. In ancient civilizations like ancient Egypt and ancient Greece, dance was sacred. It celebrated love, power, fertility, and freedom. Movement was language long before words were written. Fast forward to the roaring nights of New York City in the 1970s. Disco balls spun like galaxies above crowded floors. Confidence shimmered under flashing lights. Then came underground house music in Chicago. Techno rose from Detroit. Nightlife evolved into a global heartbeat. But beyond the history, there is something deeper. Dance is attraction in motion. It is energy made visible. On a crowded floor, eyes meet across strobes of color. A subtle smile, a shared rhythm. Attractive men move with confidence, shoulders loose, steps deliberate. Their presence fills space without saying a word. Charisma is not spoken. It is felt. Beautiful women glide through light and shadow. Hair flowing, hips swaying in perfect time. Grace becomes magnetic. Dance is one of the most powerful forms of nonverbal communication. It signals confidence. It signals freedom. Some styles are playful. Some are dramatic. Some are undeniably sensual. Salsa turns partners into flames. Hands connect, spins blur, tension builds. Every step feels like controlled fire. Bachata slows the moment down. Hips roll with smooth precision. The space between two bodies becomes electric. Tango is intensity wrapped in elegance. Sharp movements, close proximity, unbroken eye contact. Reggaeton brings grounded rhythm, low, powerful hip movements. Confidence radiates from every beat. Hip-hop adds attitude and swagger. Sharp footwork, controlled isolations. It is bold and unapologetic. Pole dance blends athleticism with sensual artistry. Strength meets grace in fluid motion. It is performance and power combined. Burlesque celebrates tease and mystery. Confidence shines through controlled reveals. Seduction becomes theater. In modern nightclubs, all these energies collide. LED lights sweep across bodies in motion. Sweat glows under neon reflections. The DJ stands elevated like a conductor. Hands in the air. Crowds moving as one organism. Dance floors dissolve barriers. Strangers become partners. Awkwardness melts into rhythm. There is something primal about moving to bass-heavy music. The vibration travels from feet to spine. It awakens something ancient. Psychologists say dance releases dopamine. It lowers stress. It boosts confidence. But ask anyone leaving a club at 2 a.m, and they will tell you something simpler. It feels alive. It feels powerful. Confidence becomes visible when someone truly owns their movement. It does not matter if the steps are perfect. What matters is the energy. Attraction is rarely about perfection. It is about presence. It is about owning the moment. Under strobe lights, silhouettes blur. Muscles flex. Hair flips in slow motion. Nightlife fashion adds to the spectacle. Fitted suits. Flowing dresses. Heels clicking against polished floors. Dance becomes performance without a stage. Everyone is both audience and star. Every glance is part of the story. In cities like Miami, Ibiza, and Berlin, nightlife is culture. Clubs pulse until sunrise. Music never truly stops. The power of dance is not just in seduction. It is in connection. It is in shared rhythm. Two strangers moving in sync feel understood without speaking. Energy aligns. The world fades away. Dance floors have sparked romances, friendships, and lifelong memories. They have also created moments that live only in one unforgettable night. At its core, dance is freedom. Freedom to express desire. Freedom to express confidence. When the beat drops, hesitation disappears. The body takes over. The mind lets go. And in that moment, under flashing lights and pounding bass, movement becomes magic. The night becomes yours.
Why do great civilizations fall? This is a question people have asked for a long time.
The hospital parking structure. The dropship bay hums with controlled.
Enemy contact. Engaging. Hold position. Keep moving. Take cover. We're not alone here. Target acquired.
They called me Fur Bullet. I was born in a quiet backyard in Kansas. Chasing sticks, chewing shoes, never knowing war would call for me. They trained me to run, to crawl, to sniff out danger. I didn't know why. I just knew my soldier's voice meant go. And I always went. Each time I was told I was a good boy, I knew I had to be here for them. We moved through places where silence was survival. I could smell traps. My handler's name was James. He fed me from his plate. He whispered to me when the gun stopped. One day the world exploded. I ran into fire to pull James back. My leg didn't make it, but he did. That was enough for me.
This is Muir Ica!
We love AI Network TV. Subscribe now.
The dropship bay shakes as the sky above Earth splits open like glass under pressure. Massive alien warships tear through space and blot out the stars. Cities fall into shadow as orbital cannons fire in desperation. The war has arrived. Explosions ripple across the upper atmosphere. Human fleets surge forward from hidden lunar stations. Fighter wings ignite their engines and charge straight into overwhelming force. There will be no surrender. Deep beneath Earth's crust, something ancient burns with impossible energy. Scientists call it the ether core. It hums with power that no other planet in the galaxy possesses. Entire civilizations would kill to control it. They already are. Insectoid swarms descend in endless waves. Reptilian war machines march through fire without fear. Plasma and metal collide in storms of light. Earth becomes a battlefield visible from orbit. A single drop pod screams through the clouds like a falling meteor. Inside, a soldier braces as gravity crushes him into his seat. His visor reflects a city already burning. This is just another deployment. The pod slams into the street in a blast of concrete and flame. The hatch detonates outward. Smoke rolls across shattered buildings. The soldier steps forward into chaos. Gunfire erupts in controlled bursts. Alien forms surge from the ruins. Energy blades clash with ballistic rounds. Survival lasts 1 second at a time. In orbit, fleets tear each other apart in blinding arcs of light. Some alien factions fight against the invasion. Others watch and wait for Earth to weaken. Alliances mean nothing in the shadow of power. Because the ether core is not just energy, it is leverage, it is dominance. It is the future of the galaxy, and Earth refuses to give it up. The ether war is coming.
We love AI Network TV.
Two blades, one battlefield. No mercy.
Embrace the stillness. Let go of what doesn't serve you and find strength in the present moment.
The fires still burned, but the movement below.
In your city. In every country. AI Network TV.
The rooftop door buckled under repeated impacts.
Get back!
reloading! Cover me!
We have to move now!
The sky over Greybridge City burned a sick.
Elven beauty is not loud. It is timeless. It does not demand attention. It commands it.
Breath held, focused. The target shall fall. Have no fear. You only get one shot. Defeat is not an option.
This is the best run ever. I know, the sunset is amazing.
Let's speed up before the sun disappears.
The mountains did not forgive weakness, and neither did Timo did not look back as the
My bad, bro. Your fault.
Relax. This happened last Tuesday.
The night the clans burned the Eastern Valley. In a world ruled by shadows, power belongs to those who can take it. The clans fight in silence, steel against steel, blood against moonlight. But one warrior was born different. He does not need to touch his blade. He bends it with his mind. When the battlefield closes in, the air itself obeys him. Stones rise. Enemies freeze. The ground trembles. They call him cursed. They call him unnatural. Soon they will call him unstoppable. One ninja. One forbidden power. And a war that will change everything.
Welcome to AI Network TV. Fantasy, comedy, chaos. If it can be imagined. We bring it to life.
My name is Clayton Buck Avery, and I am a proud chubby man from Provo, Utah. That means I grew up surrounded by mountains, church parking lots, and people who think mayonnaise has a kick. Being a chubby guy in Utah is confusing because everyone hikes. But somehow I train for competitive eating instead. People ask how I got this big and a state obsessed with the outdoors. I tell them we hike to our trucks so we can drive to soda shops that sell drinks with enough syrup to power a small boat. We do not drink coffee much, but we will mix 30 flavors into carbonated sugar and call it hydration. Redneck living is not about geography. It is about confidence. If your truck needs a ladder to enter, you are not commuting, you are making a statement. I have friends whose trucks are lifted so high they need weather reports from the top step. Trucks are personality with headlights. And as a chubby guy, that seat hugs me like a supportive aunt at Thanksgiving. Now let us talk about trailer parks and barbecue culture. Because that is where the real honesty lies. People joke about trailers. But in a trailer park, you do not need social media because your neighbor already knows. You argued with your microwave. That is community. At a barbecue, someone is always grilling something that might be chicken. And someone else is explaining the economy while holding a beer like it is a microphone. The design on the can matters more than the taste. If it has an eagle punching lightning, it is considered smooth. I once watched a man in flip-flops break down foreign policy with ketchup on his chin. Politics at a cookout feels like two uncles arguing while everyone else is just trying to eat pie. Every election year, we act like the fate of the universe depends on a guy named Brad, who once owned a hardware store. Meanwhile, nobody can fix the ice machine. But we keep debating like we are on television. And here is what I realized. The truck, the beer, the politics, the gym membership I keep paying for, it is all the same thing. It is people trying to feel important. The lifted truck says I matter. The strong opinion says I matter. The gym membership says I will matter soon. I join every January, and the treadmill looks at me like it knows I will betray it. Dieting feels like breaking up with potatoes, and I am not emotionally strong enough for that. So I lean into humor instead. Comedy is my lifted truck. It makes me feel taller without climbing anything. I am Clayton Buck Avery from Provo, a chubby guy who has seen more soda shops than sunsets. And if the world ends in a cloud of exhaust pipes and political speeches, I will be there holding a soda the size of a toddler, laughing at how serious we all were, and promising once again that tomorrow is definitely the day I start my diet.
Meant staying. Lyra stored the word stay.
You will not believe what happens next.
Actually, nothing happens.
My ex said I'd never find someone better. Challenge accepted.
Power is never handed to the weak. It is claimed by those willing to take it. If you want the throne, stand up and earn it. Standing tall, the knight shows no fear. His death shall not be in vain.
Shadow Assassin versus Light Paladin. At the edge of a ruined cathedral, two warriors face
Epic battles of magic and steam.
Two warriors stand on opposite sides. The lazy protein wrap. I am tired, but I still need protein. We are not Jim Bro cut meal. It is time to get serious. We are cutting calories, but we are not cutting flavor.
The storm did not leave them. The wind over Alwyn Gate felt sharp. The wind pressing against. They called him Half-Blood.
You ever wonder what happens when the world rejects you? But magic does not. My name is Kale, half-elf, half-human, fully hunted. When orcs burned my village, something ancient woke inside me. Not fire, not steel, the forest answered. Green-silver magic surged through my veins, tearing enemies from walls and splitting the earth beneath warlords. Now, a tyrant named Gorith is rising. He does not just want kingdoms. He wants the ley lines. He wants to corrupt the roots of the world itself. Armored armies are marching, zealots are spreading fear, human lords are choosing sides, and I stand in the middle, not as a king, not as a weapon, as a bridge. This is a dark fantasy saga about war, corruption, sacrifice, and the power of balance. If you love epic magic battles, morally gray villains, and cinematic storytelling, come watch Kale's journey. The war has only just begun. The oak above Myra Grave had grown tall enough to... The wind always found Kale first.
When I turn on Dog TV,
Best babysitter ever.
We forget most days. We forget what we ate, what we watched, what we worried about. But we remember moments. The laugh, the goodbye, the sunset that felt different. Life is not made of days. It is made of moments. You never know which moment will be the one you remember forever.
Stood there in the driveway, just a waving my hat. My self-driving pickup ain't never coming back. Just a whisper of static on the radio I hear as it rolls on down the highway and leaves me standing here.
Good evening. Here's your emotional forecast. A low-pressure zone of motivation brings scattered anxiety showers Tuesday, Wednesday, and heavy procrastination, reducing visibility to getting out of bed. Thursday brings partial productivity with isolated overwhelm. Weekend high-pressure confidence builds. temperatures rise towards self-acceptance. Back to you in the studio.
I do not even know what the latest scandal is anymore. Hey, everyone. I tried using...
Behold the third planet from the sun.
Hello and welcome to this week's Global News Recap. Here are the most important headlines.
Can any one of you, by worrying, add even a single hour to your life? Worry does not fix tomorrow. It only steals peace from today. You were not made to carry it all. You were made to trust the one who can.
After Malachi, there is a period.
The Old Testament tells the story of
the burden of the word of the Lord to it.
The soul weighs 21 grams. When we die, the body becomes lighter.
Karma, what goes around comes around. It's the boomerang of life shaping our future with every choice. Each action sets something in motion. Your words, your deeds, they all come back. So ask yourself, what energy are you putting out there? What will you send out today? What goes around comes around in this life or the next.
In the 8th month of the 2nd year of the King Darius. In the 2nd year of King Darius.
Should politicians be allowed to lie to the people they represent? Sure, we have freedom of speech. But freedom of lies? If truth matters, why is it not required? Maybe that is the real problem. Subscribe. If you still care about the truth, comment your thoughts and share.
Welcome to the cosmos. Look up at the night sky. What you see is just a tiny fraction of what is out there. For centuries, we have looked at the stars and wondered, what are those lights? How far? Are we alone? These questions drive us to explore our cosmic backyard. Our journey begins close to home in what we call our solar system, but even our own backyard is a place of incredible scale and mystery. The sun is just one of billions of stars in the Milky Way, and our galaxy is just one of trillions in the observable universe. Science is our guide, providing the tools to understand the universe. Telescopes allow us to see billions of light years away. It reveals a universe that is more strange and more wonderful than we could have ever guessed. This is the reality of the cosmos, waiting to be discovered. Let us begin our journey into this endless frontier. Behold, the universe is a realm of grand extremes where only the bravest dare to venture. Within its vast dominion lie the coldest abysses and the fiercest furnaces that mortal minds can imagine. There are voids of utter emptiness and strongholds of unimaginable density. The laws of nature as we know them in our humble earthly keep are tested to their utmost limits amidst the stars. Cast thine eyes upon a star, noble traveler. The very heart of our sun blazes at a valorous 15 million degrees Celsius. Such mighty heat is forged by the alchemy of nuclear fusion. Here, gallant atoms of hydrogen are pressed together to become noble helium. This valiant quest unleashes a torrent of energy. It is this radiant power that fuels the sun and bestows light and warmth upon our cherished realm. Without this heroic ordeal, life upon Earth would never have arisen. Now let us ponder the opposite extreme. Cold. Colder than any night's winter. The coldest chill ever conceived by scholars is known as absolute zero. This is minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, a frost to freeze the bravest heart. At such a dire cold, all motion of atoms would be stilled, as if enchanted by a sorcerer's spell. Though no mortal has witnessed absolute zero in the wilds of nature, the void of space draws perilously near.
The word of the Lord which came to
50,000 souls. That number means everything to me. Thank you for being here, for watching, and for believing. These videos have not been perfect. We had so much to learn, and we are still learning every single day. But I promise you this, they will get better. I will get better. And together, we are building something unforgettable. Thank you for being a part of knowing things is power.
The burden which the...
He was the most beautiful of all angels, the morning star. Pride grew in his heart. He wanted the throne of heaven. So he was cast down, not into fire, but into earth, and he has been commanding your demons ever since. You know the story, but do you know the truth? Subscribe.
In the beginning, there was only darkness. Then came light. Kingdoms rose. Prophets spoke. Giants walked. Fire fell from the sky. Across every faith, one truth was spoken. These are not just stories. They are warnings. They are wisdom, history, spirit, power. Subscribe and share to let everyone know. They are not meant to be ordinary.
Angels came from the sky, took human women, gave birth to giants. The Book of Enoch tells all.
The lie is dressed in gold, and most will follow it into the fire. The truth costs everything. The lie is free to believe.
Not every warrior speaks. Real strength is silent, focused, disciplined. The loudest in the room is really the most dangerous. A righteous man does not bend. He stands even when alone, not for praise, but because it is right.
Before the storm fell, a vision was written. The word of the Lord came to Micah of Moresheth. Imagine hearing this from the mouth of... The word of the Lord came to Jonah. The vision of Obadiah began. Amos was a shepherd from Tekoa. This is the complete story. They were not just warriors. Jesus had 12 apostles. They were not just warriors, they were believers. Men who stepped into battle with prayer on their lips and conviction in their hearts. They did not fight. Jesus had 12 apostles. 11. Hosea begins with the word of the Lord. Daniel is among the young men. In the 30th year, the book of Lamentations begins. Today is Saturday. Jeremiah is Isaiah, the Song of Songs, the words of the teacher. This is your global news. Throughout history, there have been warriors who fought not for gold, not for glory, but for God Almighty. These were the holy knights, divine champions, bound by sacred vows and eternal purpose. The Templar knights feared and revered. They carried the cross into battle, guarding pilgrims and relics across deserts and ruins. Hospitallers, black robes, marked with white crosses, healers and fighters sworn to protect the sick and the poor with sword and shield. The Teutonic Order forged in the snow-covered north, fighting pagan armies in the name of Christ with chilling precision. Japanese Sohei warrior monks of the east wielding staffs and steel, defending their temples with iron will and unmatched discipline. The Maccabees, rebel priests of Israel, who rose up against empire, their swords lit by divine fire, their cause one of holy defiance. Zulfiqar, the legendary sword of Ali, was said to split enemies with holy justice. His followers, Shia warriors, saw combat as sacred struggle. The Byzantine Varangian Guard, they were oath-bound to the emperor and the cross. Norse blood baptized in holy fire, defending Constantinople's glory. Samurai Christians of Japan, few in number, great in faith, cut down by the shogun, but remembered as warriors of the Son of God. From crusaders to martyrs, from monks with spears to angels in armor, the battle between good and evil has always had its champions. These are the holy warriors, and their legacy still lives on. The full documentary is coming soon. Over 20 holy warriors throughout history brought to life. Subscribe so you do not miss it. The book of Proverbs begins with the Blessed is the... Tensions are rising across Asia as
Job was a man who lived in the The Book of Esther begins during the Book of Nehemiah. OPEC stated the global. The Book of Ezra begins in the first. The warrior who never lost a battle. He fought over 100 battles. He never lost a single one. Not to an army. Not even to rebellions. Not even to a superior force. His name was Khalid ibn al-Walid. They called him the Sword of God. He led armies across empires, outmaneuvered enemies with speed and brilliance, and crushed opponents who outnumbered him 5-1. When Rome and Persia heard his name, they trembled. He was so feared his enemies would surrender just to avoid fighting him. 100 battles, 0 defeats, a record no general in history can match. Subscribe, we drop awesome videos nearly every day. President Trump announced a 30% tariff on imports from the European Union and Mexico. Markets held steady despite the news. Bitcoin surged past $120,000. Leopold II was born in Solomon, son of David, strengthened.
You are being taxed, and no one told you. Tariffs sound like they punish foreign countries, right? Like we tax their imports. They lose. But the truth is brutal. When the United States places a tariff on imported goods, the foreign company does not pay it. You do. The price of your phone, your groceries, your car parts goes up. Here's the part no one talks about. The government has already made over $100 billion from tariffs this year. It is on pace to break every record. And that means one thing. You are living through the biggest hidden tax in history. Yes, there are headlines, but most people still do not get it, because too many media outlets twist the truth and mislead the public. Luckily, we will never do that. Subscribe for real facts. No spin, no games, just truth, every single time.
Adam was the first man. Floodwaters in central Texas have now catastrophic floods in central Texas. The Bible and the Quran, two of the.
Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. More like this, waits for you here.
Ahaziah, the son of Ahab, begins his. The Book of 1 Kings begins with the catastrophic floods.
The Mediterranean theatre became a critical front in the Second World War due to its strategic position.
Heavy rain continued across central Texas. The Book of 2 Samuel begins in every myth lies a memory, in every fantasy a forgotten truth. Before they were graceful warriors, before they were The Book of 1 Samuel begins with a woman. Deadly floods continue to ravage central. The Book of Ruth begins during the. In every legend, there is a truth. In every monster, a story. What if World War III started tomorrow? Do you ever wonder who would strike first? The countless souls that would be involved? The United States and China are already circling. Flash floods rip.
Attraction begins in the brain, but it rarely feels like a logical decision. It strikes fast, without permission, and often with no clear explanation.
The Book of Judges is the 7th book of. After the death. Today is July 4th, 2020.
Welcome to episode 3 of our.
We started with a single story and a simple goal: to create something beautiful, meaningful, and worth watching. Now, because of you, we have reached 40,000 subscribers. Every comment, every like, every share, it all means the world. This is not just a number. It is a community. It is a journey. From ancient legends to forgotten secrets, we are just getting started. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And thank you for helping us build something timeless. There are books that were once considered sacred, even quoted by early Christians.
The book of Deuteronomy is the fifth. The world watched as Israel's latest heir. The book of Numbers begins with God and.
Welcome to episode 2 of our Armageddon World War II series.
Mata Hari was not born a spy or a seductress. She was born Margaretha Zell in the Netherlands in 1876, the daughter of a hat shop owner and a once wealthy family. Her father doted on her and dressed her like royalty, but the illusion of security vanished when his fortune collapsed and her mother died. Left adrift in a cold and judgmental world, she would soon craft her own identity, one that would captivate kings and condemn her to death. At just 18, Margaretha married a much older Dutch colonial officer and moved to the Dutch East Indies. It was there, surrounded by heat,
Europe experienced.
The roots of the Second World War can be traced directly to the aftermath of.
The book of Leviticus begins with God. The book of Exodus begins with the.
Hidden beneath Vatican City lies one of the most secretive collections of documents in the world. Known as the Vatican Apostolic Archive, it stretches over 50 miles of shelving and contains more than 35,000 volumes. And unless you are a pope.
In the Wild West, survival depended as much on the tools a person carried as on their grit. Long before the arrival of European settlers, in the mid-19th century, the discovery of precious. The Wild West refers to the period of American frontier history during the 19th century, generally from the early 1800s. This is our second episode into the chaotic world of the Wild.
Heavy rainstorms have caused catastrophic. This is Armageddon, World War I. This is Armageddon. This is Armageddon, World War I. This is Armageddon.
The Quran is the most recited, memorized.
The book of Genesis is the first book of the Hebrew.
Welcome to the Simon Podcast. Today I made the mistake of trying to understand American politics. It is going about as well as you would expect. I thought, how hard could it be? You have two parties. You vote, you get a president. Simple, right? Wrong. American politics is like a soap opera. If the soap opera had lobbyists, tax cuts for yachts, and the occasional coup attempt. Let us start with the basics. America has two main political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. One party says the government should help people. The other says the government should get out of the way. Which is fun until you realize both spend like drunk sailors on defense contracts. And somehow both think the other side is trying to destroy the country with slightly different tax plans. Now let us rewind to the beginning. America declared independence in 1776 because King George was taxing their tea and not giving them a seat at the cool table. They wrote the Constitution, which is like the IKEA manual of democracy, but with more powdered wigs. George Washington became the first president, had his faults, even wooden teeth, but was wise for not having internet. He warned everyone about political parties, so naturally they created two of them within 10 minutes. Fast forward a couple centuries. You now have a political system that is so divided, even the Supreme Court argues like it is group chat drama. And speaking of courts, yes, they matter. Because in America, your rights depend on whether a 90-year-old in a robe feels spicy that day. Welcome to democracy. Please keep your hands inside the roller coaster at all times. Let us talk about Congress. Congress is where laws are supposed to be made. In reality, it is where bills go to die. There is the House of Representatives and the Senate. One is chaotic, the other is slow. Together they accomplish almost nothing, but expensively. Meanwhile, approval ratings for Congress hover somewhere between root canals and airplane food. But do not worry, they still get paid during government shutdowns. And yes, the government shuts down. Imagine if your job just stopped working because two co-workers could not agree on how many Post-its to order. That is America's budgeting process. Now, elections. Oh boy. Elections in America are like reality TV with less reality. There are debates where nobody answers the question. Campaign ads where smiling farmers say things like, "He'll fight for us," and rallies where people wear hats like it is a sports team. Then there is the Electoral College, which is neither a college nor particularly educational. It is a system where you can win the popular vote and still lose the presidency. Democracy, but make it confusing. And that is before we even get to voter suppression. Because nothing says freedom like waiting 6 hours to cast a ballot while your ID is inspected like a nuclear launch code. Let us talk about presidents. Some are inspiring, some are memes, some start wars, some start Twitter fights, and some just start yelling during debates. Being president is hard. You have to run a country, deal with Congress, and get blamed for the price of eggs. But also, you get a jet, a theme song, and a secret bunker. And when things go badly, just blame the previous guy. That is tradition now. Now let us address the media. Oh yes, the media is supposed to inform the public. Instead, you have one channel yelling, "The sky is falling," another yelling, "The sky is fine," and a third asking, "Is the sky woke?" Cable news has become a buffet of outrage. Pick your flavor: rage, smugness, or apocalyptic panic. All sponsored by prescription drugs and luxury SUVs. And social media. Even worse. Now everyone thinks they are a political expert with zero reading comprehension and a TikTok filter. What can you do, though? Let us not forget lobbyists. Big money, but could never have an agenda. These are the people who help lawmakers make decisions, maybe even a policy or two. By help, I mean give them checks the size of small cars. Meanwhile, the average voter is wondering why insulin costs more than their rent. Spoiler alert, it is because democracy comes with a price tag, and that tag usually has a corporate logo on it. Let us move on to scandals. American politics is fueled by scandal. Affairs, emails, bribes, classified documents in garages, take your pick. But somehow nobody ever really goes to jail. They just write a book, go on a speaking tour, and get re-elected. It is like failing upward, but with confetti. Now let us talk about the culture wars. Nothing says land of the free, like arguing over gas stoves, cartoon characters, and who used which bathroom. Meanwhile, infrastructure crumbles and healthcare limps along. But yes, let us spend a week fighting over a beer commercial. Priorities. Because in American politics, outrage is currency, and distraction is the game. Here is another fun feature. Red states versus blue states. The map gets colored in like it is preschool. One side loves guns and trucks. The other side loves kale and solar panels. Both claim to love freedom, but only the kind they personally agree with. And both accuse the other of ruining everything, often while standing on the same broken sidewalk. Now let us talk about money in politics. Campaigns cost millions, sometimes billions, which means if you are not rich or backed by the rich, good luck. There is a whole industry built around raising money to maybe one day lose an election. And if you win, you spend the next 4 years raising money to do it again. Imagine if firefighters had to fundraise every time they wanted to put out a fire. That is American democracy. Pass the donation link. Now about political ads. They are dramatic, terrifying, and mostly nonsense. You will hear things like "he voted against babies" or "she hates your grandma," usually over stock footage of cornfields or crying eagles. Nothing says policy discussion like ominous music and Photoshop. And let us not forget those approval lines. "I'm so-and-so, and I approve this message." Because nothing inspires trust like someone having to legally confirm they meant it. Welcome to the Hunger Games. May the most funded candidate win. And that brings us to conspiracy theories. In America, political discourse now includes flat earth, lizard people, and secret pizza tunnels. No, I am not joking. You have people storming government buildings in cosplay. Others think 5G is a mind control device. And someone somewhere is convinced birds are government spies. Meanwhile, voter turnout hovers around 60%, because half the population thinks it does not matter. The other half thinks it is already rigged. And yet somehow America still functions. The mail arrives, the lights stay on, people go to work, eat tacos, and binge TV while Congress holds hearings about TikTok. Because for all its dysfunction, chaos, and carnival logic, there is still something kind of beautiful about the mess. America is like a reality show that got too many seasons. But you still tune in. You roll your eyes, throw popcorn, scream at the screen, and somehow keep coming back for more. Welcome back to the Simon Podcast. Still trying to make sense of American politics. still regretting every second of it. In part 1, we covered scandals, spending, and the fact that cartoon mascots now count as political talking points. But we are just scratching the surface, because now we need to talk about voters. Ah yes, the people, the heart of democracy. The reason politicians pretend to eat at diners during election season. Voters in America are a fascinating mix. You have the die-hard loyalists who would vote for a shoe if it wore the right color tie. You have the independents who are just trying to survive the group chat. Then you have the non-voters, tens of millions of them. They will not vote, but they will absolutely comment both sides suck on every post. Some voters are extremely informed. They read policies, watch debates, and show up every election. Others get their information from memes and angry uncles. It is democracy by Wi-Fi signal. 1 minute you are Googling polling locations. The next you are convinced your toaster is part of a global plot. Progress. Now let us talk about politicians trying to be relatable. They go to county fairs. They wear denim shirts. They pretend to love football and pancakes and small-town values. But then you find out they have never pumped their own gas or answered a phone without an assistant. One of them once said they love the internet web. Another referred to tacos as ethnic sandwiches. Yes, really. These are the people running for office. And then there is the campaign trail. It is basically a traveling circus with more balloons and fewer animals. You make promises you cannot keep, shake 1,000 hands, and try not to say something that goes viral in the worst way. They say things like,
They whisper their names in the shadows of power. They say nothing moves without their blessing. And yet, most people have never heard their real stories. Secret societies have shaped history.
The Supreme Court of the United States has ruled to temporarily.
Throughout history, power has worn many faces, but none more captivating than the woman who uses seduction.
The search for exoplanets began in the early 1990s.
In the beginning, before the earth turned, before the stars lit the sky, there was only the divine realm, a place beyond time, where light and order flowed from a single source, believed by many to be the Creator, the Almighty, the original force behind everything that is. From this presence came beings of pure energy, of beauty and strength, called angels. Each one was made with purpose. Some were warriors, some were messengers, others were watchers, sent to observe the worlds being formed. And above them all stood the most radiant among them, a being named Lucifer. In the beginning, there was only silence. Throughout history, powerful.
Slavery began in the earliest known civilizations. Evidence of slavery appears in Mesopotamia.
This is the World Recap Podcast. This is your World News Podcast.
Genghis Khan was born in the year 1162. They gave me a podcast. I do not have. The Maya civilization developed. They gave me a podcast. I do not have. The Maya civilization developed in Mesoamerica. The government was created to protect its people. The state of the world for June 27, 2025. Welcome to today's Global News Recap. Congratulations, you just worked 8 hours to afford 1 loaf of bread and a stress-induced headache. Your rent is higher than your serotonin levels. And your job offers great benefits, like crying in the bathroom during lunch. Remember when they said go to college and you'll be successful? Now you're $80,000 in debt and your degree is being used as a coaster. Groceries cost more than your dreams. And gas prices rise faster than your self-esteem falls. It's not you and it's the system. But hey, at least your Spotify still works. Full video coming soon because learning why you're broke is cheaper than therapy.
They were not magical shadow warriors from cartoons. They were real and far more dangerous. Ninjas came from chaos, not honor, born in Japan's darkest age of war. Legends who mastered sabotage, deception, and silent death, operating from the shadows while samurai clashed in glory. They dressed like farmers, disappeared like ghosts, and struck when no one was watching. What you know is myth, The truth is way more intense. Full ninja documentary coming soon. Subscribe so you do not miss the real story.
People, yes, human beings are falling in love with AI. They lied, again, and nothing happened. They promised transparency. War escalates across Ukraine and Gaza. Peace talks stall again.
Your quick world news recap for
The sky can strike you down without warning. One man survived that exact fate 7 times. His name was Roy Sullivan, a quiet ranger. He worked in the mountains, alone with nature. And nature kept turning deadly all around him. In 1942, his tower was struck. He tried to hide inside during the storm. Lightning hit the building and found his body, burned his leg and blasted his toe. That was the first strike, but not the last. The second strike happened almost 3 decades later. Roy was driving his truck through the park. Lightning hit nearby trees and jumped inside his cab. It burned his hair and left him unconscious. Once again, Roy came back from the brink. The third lightning strike hit him in his yard. He was outside near his home doing chores. A sudden bolt burned his shoulder and threw him. His neighbors were shocked, but still did not believe. Roy carried the scars to prove them wrong. The fourth strike set his hair on fire, grabbed a towel and beat out the flames, told no one, and quietly returned to work. People started calling him cursed behind his back. Roy began to think they might be right. The fifth bolt struck while he was on patrol. It burned his chest and his scalp badly. His hat was destroyed by the electric blast. Roy put himself out and kept on walking. He refused to quit, even when it hurt. The sixth time was while fishing on the river. Lightning came from a clear sky and found him. His chest and stomach were burned once again. Drove to the hospital alone and injured. Doctors could not believe he was still alive. The seventh and final strike came in 1977. Roy was hiking a quiet trail near his station. Lightning hit him in the head and side, left more burns, but still he survived. No one else in history has matched that number. Lightning is powerful, dangerous, and not always random. Looks for the fastest way to ground. Trees, towers, and sometimes people become that path. Each strike carries millions of volts of electricity. Roy's body endured more than most would survive. Scientists studied his case but found no answer. Some thought it was his job and location. Others blamed coincidence or freak weather patterns nearby. Roy began to think something deeper was happening, said he felt like nature was hunting him. He started carrying water to put out flames, walked in open areas, far from others, feared someone else would get hurt near him. His family noticed he was becoming more withdrawn. The city sank into the ocean, and it was not at Fast Daily News. Knowing things. June 25th, 2025. Your global.
These are the deadliest dictators in history, and the staggering numbers they left behind. Mao Zedong, 45 million dead. Famine, labor camps, silence. Joseph Stalin, 20 million dead. Purges, gulags, fear from within. Adolf Hitler, 17 million dead. Holocaust, war, genocide. Power unchecked becomes death measured in millions. Please like and subscribe for more content.
He started with nothing and nearly ruled the world. Genghis Khan, the most feared warlord in history, led an army that killed over 40 million people. Entire civilizations vanished, cities leveled, cultures erased. He conquered more land than Alexander the Great, Napoleon, and Hitler combined. By the time he died, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Genghis Khan didn't just conquer land, he changed the course of history. One of the most astonishing aspects of Genghis Khan's legacy is not just his military conquests, but his impact on the human gene pool. Genghis Khan fathered so many children that nearly 10% of the population in the region can trace their lineage back to him. This genetic footprint is a testament to his far-reaching influence and the vast expanse of his empire. Like, share, and subscribe for more brutal history. Knowledge is power.
What if I told you time isn't real, at least not the way we think? Time is a tool, created to measure change. Seconds, minutes, hours, all man-made. The universe doesn't tick, it flows, it stretches, it warps. Gravity slows time. Near a black hole, 1 hour could equal years on Earth. And space. It's not empty, it's woven with time. One fabric, bending together. You aren't just moving through space, you're moving through time right now. Time isn't passing, you are. Subscribe for more truth the universe is dying to tell you.
The war in Ukraine has become one of the most devastating conflicts of our time.
Stars don't just fade, they explode. When a massive star dies, it collapses in.
Looking for something healthy, pretty, and cheap? Let's make.
This is a true story. They laughed when he first joined. A baboon in uniform. But Corporal Jack was no joke. He served in the South African Army during the Boer War. Not as a mascot, as a soldier. He marched in formation, saluted officers, and when gunfire broke out, he built his own shelter to survive. No one taught him. He just knew. Jack operated railway signals. He spotted enemies before humans did, and he never missed a shift. One day in battle, he was shot in the leg. He didn't cry out. He didn't run. He stood his ground. They gave him a pension, a real one. They promoted him to corporal. And when he died, they honored him as of their own. A monkey, yes, but a soldier first. Loyal, brave, respected. Corporal Jack, a name worth remembering. Because sometimes the most human soul isn't human at all. Knowledge is power. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to see future videos. Thank you for stopping by.
This chapter was once part of the Bible. It was called the Book of Enoch. And then it vanished. It spoke of fallen angels, Nephilim giants, and secrets from heaven. The church banned it, said it was too dangerous. Today it's locked in archives, hidden from the public. But some say it reveals the truth about creation itself. Like and subscribe if you're ready to learn what they erased. The full video documentary is on our channel Knowledge is Power.
They said it was for God. But what they found was betrayal, blood, and broken glory. Love was lost. Friends were buried. And victory came at a cost no one saw coming. This wasn't just a crusade. It was a storm of ambition, revenge, and faith turned savage. Want the full story? Watch the full movie now on our channel. Search The First Crusade, Blood, Faith, and Betrayal. Because history isn't just dates, it's lives. Like and subscribe to support the channel.
From ancient scrolls in China to medieval Europe's darkest myths, dragons have haunted human history for over 5,000 years. They weren't just monsters. They were gods, guardians, omens, and weapons of war. Vikings feared them. Kings painted them on banners. Some believed they protected heaven. Others swore they burned cities to ash. But why do nearly every civilization imagine the same beast? Winged, fire-breathing, terrifying. Coincidence or forgotten truth? The full story of dragons, across continents, cultures, and time, is waiting for you. Watch the full history now on our channel. Knowledge is power.
They were born in silence. Raised in fortresses hidden within the mountains. Trained not just to kill, but to vanish. To blend into the world like ghosts. The world called them assassins. But they were more. A brotherhood bound by shadows. Loyalty sealed in blood. And eyes fixed on kings. They struck when no one expected. One blade. One whisper. Entire empires trembled. But among the steel and silence, There were forbidden desires. Love tangled in betrayal. And missions that shattered the soul. These are the Hashashin. Not myth. Not legend. Real. Deadly. Forgotten. The full documentary is uploading soon. Subscribe now to Knowledge is Power. And witness history like you've never seen it before.
For 1,000 years, the walls of Constantinople stood unbreakable, built by emperors, defended by legends, feared by every army that dared approach. But in 1453, the impossible began. An empire on its last breath, an enemy with a new weapon, the cannon, and a siege that would shake the world. Loyal knights, deadly betrayals, secret lovers, and warriors who refused to fall. This wasn't just the end of a city. It was the final chapter of the Roman Empire. The fall of Constantinople, told like never before. Coming soon to the channel, Knowledge is Power. Rome wasn't built on glory, it was built on blood. Slaves served emperors, lovers betrayed kings. Knives decided who ruled next. From forbidden romances to brutal rebellions, this isn't the Rome they taught you in school. This is the real story. Our full epic documentary drops soon, only on this channel. Subscribe so you don't miss the truth behind the empire.
They were chained in silence. The Helots versus Sparta. Whispers became meetings. Meetings became fire. One Spartan fell in love with a slave. Another betrayed him to keep her freedom. And deep beneath the streets of Sparta, a rebellion was born. This isn't the Sparta you learned about. The mighty Spartans almost fell to their slaves. Watch the full story, only on our channel.
Before dawn, she is already awake. Silk wraps, sword shadows. Honor is not just for men. Her father trains the warriors. She trains herself. Tea is not just a ritual. It is discipline in motion. A whisper from the courtyard. A stranger arrives. Her heart knows the man, her duty does not. Eyes speak, but no one listens. By nightfall, the cherry blossoms fall like ash. She walks alone, but never weak. Tomorrow, she will rise again. Full story uploading soon on the channel. A day in the life of a samurai's daughter. Subscribe so you don't miss it.
History wasn't just written in blood, it was worn in style. From the misty hills of Japan, the samurai. Steel, silk, and silence. Rome, where even armor was sculpted like a god's body. Gold flowed through the veins of Byzantium. Even war shimmered. Blades danced in Cairo, under banners stitched with poetry. Where royalty rode elephants, and war smelled of jasmine and blood. To fight with the heart of a lion, you must look like one. Even dragons bowed to the robe. The Qing ruled with color, silk, and steel. The desert winds carried gold, silk, and death. Fire, fur, iron, and the sea's cold fury. The gods demanded beauty and blood. They fought in glory. They walked in grace. And time remembers those who dared to look like legends. Love history with style. Subscribe for more epic moments.
They look like sci-fi, but these planets are 100% real. Let's start with one that rains molten glass, sideways. HD 189733b is deep blue like Earth. But don't be fooled. It's a hellstorm of 5,000 miles per hour winds and searing heat. Glass shards fly sideways through the atmosphere. Welcome to the most violent weather system ever found. Now meet 55 Cancri, a planet made of diamond. Its surface burns at nearly 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But beneath that, pure crystalline carbon. It could be worth quadrillions if you could survive touching it. Next, WASP 12b. It's so dark it absorbs over 99% of light. But worse, it's being eaten alive by its own star. torn apart atom by atom. It literally won't survive. Kepler 16b looks familiar because it orbits two suns just like Tatooine. Imagine standing there watching two sunsets, two shadows. Double the light, double the weird. Then there's Tres 2b, the darkest planet ever found. It reflects almost no light at all, floating in space like a chunk of coal, except it glows slightly red, like an evil ember. And finally, Gliese 581 CE, Earth-like in size. It might be habitable, but one side always faces the sun, a scorched wasteland, the other, frozen in eternal night. The only hope? A thin, possibly habitable line between them. Space is beautiful, but it's also insane. Follow for more. This really happened. NASA launches Gemini 3 into space. 2 astronauts on a serious mission to explore. No time for joking around or playing games. Everything is going according to plan, until John Young pulls a corned beef sandwich out of his suit pocket. Yes, my friends. A corned beef sandwich. In space of all places. Not authorized, not allowed. Not tested for bacteria or germs. Just meat and bread floating in zero gravity on board a space shuttle. Crumbs start floating and drifting around. NASA panics because that is what they do. Crumbs can get into the electronics. They could short out the ship. People could get sick. There is no help up there. He takes a big bite of the sandwich. Says it tastes fine, Houston. Mission Control loses their minds. No punishment today, just an interesting story to tell the world. Just a warning to not try it again. And the first sandwich in space? It was banned from space forever. Want more weird but true stuff like this? Hit follow for more fun from the cosmos and beyond. They called him Wojtek, a bear who wasn't just a mascot. He was a soldier, adopted by Polish troops in World War II. He grew up in the barracks, drank beer from bottles, and would mimic the men, pretending to smoke cigarettes like one of the guys. But Wojtek wasn't just there for laughs. At the Battle of Monte Cassino, he carried live artillery shells to the front lines. Under fire, calm, fearless, just like the men beside him. So they made it official. Private Wojtek enlisted in the Polish Second Corps. When the war ended, he retired peacefully in a Scottish zoo. But the soldiers never forgot him. They visited often, bringing beer, sharing stories. Because to them, he wasn't just a bear. He was a brother, a comrade, a legend. Like, subscribe and follow Knowing Things is Power for more stories that make history come alive.
He woke before the sun. Not by choice, by duty. Trained to entertain an empire. Every move judged by thousands. Armor on. Mind sharp. There were no second chances. He wasn't born for the arena. But it became his world. Behind the roars, a story of honor, heartbreak, and rising beyond fate. Not just a fighter. A symbol. A legend. A day in the life of a Roman gladiator is now live on the channel. Like if you love epic history. Subscribe if you're ready for more.
This is Dave. Dave made a mistake 27 years ago. He met a crow. He called it a stupid pigeon in front of its whole flock. He thought the crow would forget. But crows don't forget. They recognize faces. They hold grudges for over 30 years. And they tell their friends and their kids. Now every time Dave leaves his house, the air raid begins. Generational beef, feathered revenge. This isn't harassment, it's a legacy. Don't be like Dave. Thought this was great? Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button for future videos. Share to support our channel. They called them savages. Beasts from the ice-choked north. But what sailed from Scandinavia wasn't chaos. It was precision. a storm of warriors, poets, kings, lovers. Each raid told a story. Each conquest fed a legacy. They didn't just take. They stayed. And changed the world. From Lindisfarne to Paris. From York to the gates of Byzantium.
The Ice Age was like nature's way of saying, hope you like snow. Forever.
The earth basks in the sun's light, but not all parts are treated equally.
Dinosaurs once ruled the world for hundreds of millions of years.
Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not disgrace others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love could never fail. But sometimes, the world does. Watch the full story, only on our channel. Hit that like button if you liked our video. Share to support the channel.
Earth's core is hotter than the surface of the sun, but it's been burning for over 4.5 billion years. So why hasn't it cooled off? It all started with chaos. When Earth formed, massive space rocks collided and melted everything through pure violence. That initial heat never left, but gravity made things worse. The deeper you go, the more pressure, squeezing the core like a nuclear pressure cooker. And here's the wildest part. The core is radioactive. Elements like uranium and thorium are decaying, releasing constant heat from deep inside. All of that keeps Earth's core burning like a cosmic furnace. It's why volcanoes erupt, tectonic plates shift, and our planet stays alive. Earth is basically a giant baked potato with a nuclear heart, like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to see future videos just like this one.
Everybody out here yelling, "Occupy Mars!" Like, bruh, we can't even occupy Earth without burning it down. You want to live on a red rock that kills you if you breathe wrong? We'd need suits, domes, underground cities, and 24/7 oxygen machines. You sneeze too hard on Mars, that's a funeral, not a cold. And don't get me started on terraforming. If we can terraform Mars to make it like Earth, why not just terraform Earth back into Earth? We've got oceans, sunlight, animals, pizza delivery. Mars has dust, death, and depression. It's like saying, my apartment's on fire, so I'm moving into a cardboard box in space. Fix the house you're in before you start house hunting on hell planets. Occupy Earth first, like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. Share to support the channel. They traveled light years, crossed galaxies, bent time itself to get here. And what did they find? A planet where people still argue if Earth is flat, where billionaires launch cars into space, and people eat laundry detergent for clout. They watched us duct tape knives to Roombas, start wars over imaginary internet points, and then use AI to draw buff cats. The aliens? They turned around. Didn't even slow down. Didn't even roll down the window. And honestly, I don't blame them. Like if you smiled. Sub if you want more. And share this to show aliens we do have potential.
They called her a widow, but she became something far more dangerous. She didn't inherit her husband's fleet. She took command of it. Thousands of ships. Over 70,000 men. A pirate queen like the world had never seen. She faced emperors and entire navies, and never lost. Her name was Qing Shi, the most powerful pirate in history. The full video will be uploaded soon to our channel. Like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to see more, and share to support the channel.
Every morning, a man and his dog walked side by side to the train station. The dog would watch him board, then return at sunset to greet him once more. This ritual was never broken. Not by rain, not by snow, not even by time. One day, the man never came back. There was no goodbye. He had died suddenly at work, never making it home, but the dog still waited. The next day, and the day after that, morning and night, seasons changed. The world moved on, but he never did. For 10 years, he returned to the same spot. They buried him beneath the very place he waited, and there he rests, still facing the tracks, still waiting for the man who meant everything. They called him Hachiko. He was loyalty made flesh. If you felt something, hit that like button, subscribe to see more powerful stories, and share this to keep his memory alive. Be the person your dog thinks you are.
They didn't ride for glory. They rode for survival. In the dust and blood of the American frontier, heroes were forged and legends were buried.
At just 17 years old, Julianne Köpke boarded a flight with her mother on Christmas Eve, 1971. Somewhere over the Peruvian rainforest, the plane was struck by lightning and disintegrated mid-air. Julianne was thrown from the aircraft, still strapped to her seat. She plummeted over 10,000 feet, nearly 2 miles, into the dense jungle below. But she survived. Injured, barefoot and alone, she wandered the rainforest for 11 days. She followed streams, avoided predators, and treated her wounds with knowledge she had learned from her zoologist parents. Despite broken bones, insect bites, and no supplies, she kept moving. Eventually, she found a logging camp and was rescued. Julianne was the only survivor out of 92 passengers. She fell from the sky and walked out of the jungle alive. Like the video if you found this to be amazing. For more unbelievable true stories, hit subscribe and check out our full documentary series.
Rambo was fiction. This guy? He was real. For 30 years, Hiru Onoda stayed hidden in the jungle, still fighting World War II, because no one told him it was over. He took orders seriously. He refused to surrender. He waited for his commanding officer. And when that officer returned, he finally laid down his rifle. This isn't a movie. It really happened. The full documentary drops soon. Like
They say heaven has streets of gold.
They weren't just scared of vampires. They dug up graves to fight them. In the 1700s, entire villages believed the dead were coming back to drink their blood, and they had rituals to stop it. If a body looked too fresh after burial, they assumed it was feeding at night, so they'd cut off the head, burn the heart, even stake the corpse right in the chest. This isn't horror fiction. This was everyday life for some people. The insane truth about vampires is way darker than the myths. Full documentary now on the channel. Saturn is the second biggest planet in our solar system. It has rings made of ice, moons with oceans, and it's so light it could float in a giant bathtub. No, seriously, if you had a pool big enough. Saturn would just bob on the surface like a beach ball at a barbecue. It's made mostly of hydrogen and helium, basically space balloon material. Meanwhile, Earth would sink like a rock. So congratulations. You now know the most majestic planet in our solar system is also a floater. Planetary bubble bath, anyone? Now picture aliens doing cannonballs into it. Because I can't unsee it now. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this. Subscribe to see future videos. Sharing is caring. The greatest sieges in history weren't just battles. They were survival. Jerusalem burned. Constantinople crumbled. Stalingrad froze in blood. Cannons shattered walls. Starvation broke cities. But the defenders? They held. History was written under fire. The full video drops soon. Don't miss it. Awesome videos uploaded daily. Like and share to support the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss future content. You ever wonder why humans look so different, but are still 99.9% the same? Skin tones, facial features, languages that sound like music, or war drums, but it all came from one species, one origin. We didn't start divided. We evolved that way, because of sun, snow, isolation, and survival. Why do some languages click? Why do others flow like water? Why are your ancestors where they are? It's not random. It's ancient. It's science. It's war. It's migration. It's beautiful. Come see the real story of what made you, you. Watch the full documentary now on our channel. The American Civil War wasn't just brother against brother. It was the birth of modern warfare and the death of over 600,000 people. It was the brutal fight that reshaped a nation forever. But behind the smoke and cannon fire are stories most have never heard. Stories of bravery, betrayal, and bloodshed. This isn't the Civil War from your textbooks. This is the war as it really was. The full documentary is uploading soon on the channel.
The sun, our life giver, will one day become our destroyer. In about 5 billion years, it'll run out of fuel. And when it does, it won't go quietly. First, it swells into a red giant, big enough to engulf Mercury, Venus, and yes, even Earth. Mountains will melt. Oceans will vaporize. The Earth will be consumed. Not with a bang, but a cosmic burp. And in the end, only a ghost of our star remains. Hit follow if you love the brutal beauty of space. The Andromeda Galaxy is heading straight for us. At over 2 million light-years away, it seems distant now, but it's moving closer at 250,000 miles per hour. In about 4 billion years, it will collide with the Milky Way. Don't worry, stars are so far apart most won't hit each other, but gravity will twist both galaxies into a new giant, Milkomeda. The night sky will be spectacular, if Earth still exists. 2 galaxies, 1 cosmic dance, and we're part of it. Like if you learned something. China's story is one of the oldest on Earth. From ancient dynasties to modern empires, its rise shaped the world.
A pie so rare, one man was willing to die for it.
He changed history before he turned 30. Led armies across the world. Inspired legends for over 2,000 years. But who was the real man behind the name? Discover the rise. The ambition. The legacy. Alexander the Great. Full video coming soon to the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss it.
Your body is not just yours. Trillions of bacteria live inside you. They shape your mood. They affect your weight. They even train your immune system. It is not gross. It is genius. The real you is a we. The full movie is live now on our channel. Why almost everything in space is round. Planets, stars, even black holes, they're all round. That's because gravity pulls equally in all directions. Over time, this force smooths everything out. Jagged edges collapse until only a sphere remains. Small asteroids stay odd-shaped. But once something gets big enough, gravity takes control. It's called hydrostatic equilibrium. The bigger the object, the rounder it becomes. That's why you'll never see a cube-shaped planet. In space, round is the shape of balance. Like, subscribe, and follow for more cosmic truth. Carthage once ruled the Mediterranean. A city so powerful, even Rome feared it. They were master traders and brilliant at sea. But power attracts enemies, and history doesn't always go your way. Ever heard of Hannibal and the elephants? Yeah, that was them. This is the true story of Carthage. From greatness to ashes. Full video now on the channel. Like and share to support the channel. Subscribe to see our future content.
Some animals are so cute they shouldn't even be allowed on Earth. Let's meet the biggest threats to your heart. Quokkas. These Australian legends always look like they just heard good news. Red pandas. They're not pandas or foxes. They're just fluffy chaos in the trees. Axolotls. Baby-faced salamanders that never grow up. Basically aquatic plushies. Sea otters. They hold hands when they sleep. That's not fair. Fennec foxes. Tiny desert foxes with ears bigger than their body. Cartoon-level cute. Pikas. Real-life Pokemon. Found in the mountains. Cuteness level? Illegal. Slow loris. Giant eyes, slow moves, and somehow they're real. Hedgehogs. Tiny spiky bread loaves that snore. Need I say more? Baby goats. Screaming jelly beans that bounce for no reason. And flying squirrels. Actual chubby forest clouds with eyes. Nature went too hard on this one. Follow for more wild facts. Full videos on the channel.
What if you were born 100,000 years ago? No phones. A day in the life of Audie Murphy, January 26, 1945. He refused to carry a weapon. The Earth is alive. And when things...
How did the United States get all this land? From ancient warriors on the icy steppes. Tensions in the Middle East just reached a boil.
Love him or hate him, few figures in history have ever been this polarizing. From real estate mogul to reality TV icon. From billionaire branding to the most unlikely presidency in modern history. Bankruptcies, business empires, courtrooms, crowds, chaos. This is the raw, unfiltered story of Donald J. Trump. The triumphs. The controversies. The legacy still unfolding. The full cinematic documentary is coming soon. To Knowing Things is Power. Subscribe now and don't miss history in the making.
Beneath our feet, a hidden world thrives. Trees, seemingly solitary, are anything but alone. A vast, intricate web connects them all. Not roots, but something far more surprising. Fungi, delicate threads weaving through the soil. A living network, a natural internet. Sharing vital resources, water and nutrients flow. Even sending warnings, a silent signal of danger. The Wood Wide Web, the forest's secret conversation. Listen closely and you might just hear it. They came from every empire, every faith, every side of a bloody story.
On June 21, 1948.
June 22nd,
Tired of talking heads and political...
Think you know the universe? Think again. Into the...
You've heard the stories. Bloody Mary in the mirror.
Welcome to your daily hit of knowledge on...
Elon Musk just did the impossible. He launched Tesla's robo-taxi in Austin, fully...
Iran is more than a country. World News Daily Recap. You're not standing still. Right now, Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. It's orbiting the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour. And the Sun. It's flying through the galaxy at 514,000 miles per hour. So today alone, you've traveled over 1.6 million miles, without even leaving your chair. Did we blow your mind? Watch the full explanation on our channel. It's wilder than you think. The CIA tried to control minds. This isn't fiction. The CIA actually tried to control people's minds. They called it MK Ultra. Victims were drugged with LSD without consent. Some were hypnotized. Others were tortured. They used electroshock, isolation, and sleep deprivation. One man jumped from a window after being dosed. The truth was buried for decades. but it was real.
In 1815, a volcano erupted so violently, a city was nuked. They tried to weaponize the weather. Ghost ships still drift the North Sea.
June 24th, 2020.
Daily World Recap.
Still debated. And still alive in the conscience of a country.